Yo guys, what is up? It is Teachers Game 2 coming at you again with another video here, and this one is going to be incredibly helpful for you. If you don't use gachas already, you can see them behind me here. They are incredibly important for you to use. Now you can see these have pumped out a ton of crystals. I'll show you the kind of loot you get from these crazy things. Yes, the F key now is an amazing key. Make sure you use it. And so this is just two gachas. This is a breeding pair of gachas. And what you do in order to really do this, type in crystal, and then go ahead and just mash your E key or whatever key you're using if you're on Xbox or PS4. Now, as you can see, I get a bunch of good loot, and I get my element dust that I really want. I'm getting about 180, which is max, element dust per gacha crystal that I open. Now, all you gotta do, have a nice little Deddy box nearby, put it in there, you can see there's some element going. Now, how do you get these guys to work the best? Because if you look over here, I've got nothing on them now. They just ran out of stuff. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you. The best thing that you can do for cheap, I guess, affordability purposes is plant species Y traps. Now, just to give you a comparison, most people this early game use stone. So this one totally filled itself with some plant species Y trap. This one has stone. Now, they have a ton of them on them, which you're going to notice right away. The one with plant species Y trap is going to produce crystals more quickly at a much faster rate. Now, yes, they did both just drop one off. This one had one left from its plant species Y trap. So I'll literally just sit here and show you because it's really easy to see. The gachas will go down give or take every 15 to 20 seconds, and they'll go ahead and drop a crystal off their back. Now, if they have enough, so how the crystals work is they have to build up that crystal. The more materials that it takes something to actually build up, to create a crystal, you can see them growing on their backs right now, the quicker the crystal grows. Oh, I just lost a 150 dino. Oh well, there are worse things. So, you'll notice the one on the right that actually has the stuff. Pretty amazing because it's getting a lot more stuff, a lot quicker, which is nice. Now, this right here, primitive gacha crystal, you're increasing your speed by about 2 to 3 times, which means you're basically getting a lot more element. You're going to notice you get a lot less element dust as well if you are not using a plant species Y trap. If you're just using stone, like this guy right here, it's going to take 1, a lot longer, 2, you're going to get less resource, and 3, which is even more difficult, you're going to have to grind out a lot more. Whereas if you use plant species Y traps, you can make a couple hundred plant species Ys, plant them seeds, and you will get a ton of plant species Y traps at a crazy, crazy rate. Now, to give you a comparison, that one produces 180, whereas the other one produces 128. So you're getting a 66% increase in your stuff. Really useful. Now, a couple other quick facts about these gachas. One, having a breeding pair nearby each other doubles, I mean, as far as I have been made aware, doubles the speed in which they produce and the, I guess, quality in which they produce as well. If they are within 14 tiles of something that is the same gender as them, they will not produce. So you have to have things 14 tiles away. That means you can go up, you can go down, left, right. However you want to do it is totally cool, but you do need to make sure that you have these guys next to each other with at least one breeding pair. Now, both of these, no matter whether you have stone or not, will pretty regularly give you crystals at a decent rate, and you'll get some pretty good loot out of them. Not going to complain about 367 Journeyman Riot Gauntlets, nor am I going to complain about a sword. Those aren't bad flak boots. 324 Dura, which isn't terrible. I mean, I'd like to have 500-600, but 324 is not terrible. You'll notice this guy on the left goes down a lot more and doesn't produce a crystal because it has stone. It eats about 20 stone a block, and it does not go nearly as fast as the gacha on the right-hand side over here, because this guy eats a chunk of its Y traps, drops off a crystal, and just by looking at it right now, we're looking at probably 4 times faster for using these plant species Y traps. Now, if you've never used it before, literally just make a ton of the crop plots and make sure you have them constantly pumping, and then pull the plant species Y off. It's the cheapest way to go about this, because what you're really looking for is you're trying to make sure that you get the maximum amount of resources and resource types, and the gacha notifies the plant species Y as something that gives it a lot more. So you can give yourself a ton more element if you just use plant species Y traps. Now, you could have, in theory, 10, 15 sets of these gachas, and give or take, now this is just me telling you this from what we're realizing, you can probably get about, with 2 of them, about 60 element an hour. So if you have 10 pairs of gachas, you are making 600 element an hour. So put that into like a thought process, because if you've ever had issues with doing boss fights and stuff like that for element, just get yourself to the best. Like, it's worth the part. Most people charge a ton for these gachas, but it's worth it. Grind out some metal, do whatever you got to do to get them, because they are crazy OP. Make sure you use this Y trap trick. It's just an insane thing, and you can get some crazy, crazy, crazy loot for it. Make sure they're 14 apart, and that is how you feed your gachas, and that is the best way to get yourself the most possible loot from these guys. So, hopefully this helps you out, and Teacher's Game 2, out.